So, as many of you will have no doubt heard, today DICE released their second update for Battlefield 2042, which addressed the dreaded spread or bloom issue that the entire player base has been complaining about for the past couple of weeks. So the gameplay in the background here is post-patch, and you'll notice I'm putting the AK-24 through its paces, but has the bloom actually been fixed? We'll talk about that, and then there's also a rumour going around that DICE developers are leaving the studio. Some believe in the wake of the aftermath that was the Battlefield 2042 release. Is there any base to this rumour, or is it a load of twaddle? Okay, so let's discuss the patch first. Of course, we're all familiar with what the spread was like before. It basically rendered ARs unusable at anything but the shortest of ranges, especially the high recoil ones like the AK-24 or the SCAR. So I decided to go ahead and pick up the AK-24, lots of nice recoil there, and so far I'm happy to report that whilst the recoil is hard to control, the spread feels much better. It doesn't feel like I'm missing a target at range because of uncontrollable bullet deviation anymore. Most of the time I miss, I can put my hand up and say, okay, you know what, I just messed up the recoil there. I bursted too quickly or whatever, it was my fault. And I think that's the way players want to feel when they miss and screw up. They want it to be because of their own errors due to things they can improve and not because of some random bloom. So good job DICE, it's definitely an improvement. Now the change to the spread wasn't the only highlight of the patch notes. The PP29 also had its vertical recoil increased, so you can't burst that thing at ranges anymore beyond what it's designed for. If you want something nice and accurate at those sorts of ranges, you're now better off with, say, an M5A3 assault rifle. Now there has also been a bunch of much needed vehicle nerfs, and I say that as a vehicle main. Firstly, the MD540 Nightbird has had its 20mm cannons nerfed. Those are the ones that do splash damage, and that splash has been turned down from 3 to 2, as well as the blast radius of the rounds has been dropped from 1.5 to 0.75, so by half effectively. Honestly, some pretty hefty nerfs there, which kind of surprised me because the meta on the Nightbird at the moment is not the 20mm cannons, it's miniguns and rocket pods. So kind of a weird choice, I think, to nerf the 20mm cannons. When I heard about the Nightbird nerfs, I 100% expected them to be nerfing the rockets. The Attack Helicopter 2 has seen its 30mm cannon nerfed, so they've turned down the blast radius from 2 to 1.6, blast damage from 20 to 14, and the damage fall-off range now kicks in at 180 meters instead of 200. You'll see from the footage here in the background that before the patch, right here we're almost outside of lock-on range, and we're able to absolutely hammer the enemy team. So this change doesn't surprise me at all. I certainly think it was well deserved. And finally, of course, the Hovercraft have been nerfed. Hoverfield 2042 is over. Its armor is now susceptible to more different weapon types, and from what I've seen, it only takes 2 rockets to take one out. In addition, the miniguns on all land vehicles have been severely nerfed as well in terms of their damage and fall-off distance, so you can expect less hit-and-run style deaths from those speedy light vehicles. Moving on, let's discuss the rumour about DICE's current internal operations. So this came from Tom Henderson. Of course it did. Who else? When he tweeted out yesterday that, quote, DICE are essentially hiring a new studio, expect departures, etc. to start being announced this week. And to clarify, he doesn't mean hiring an additional studio, he means replacing people already at the studio. He then wrote an article on this whole thing, which was posted on videogameschronicle.com, where he gets a little more in-depth and claims that Fawzi Mesmar, DICE's head of design, who presided over Battlefront 2, Battlefield 5, and most recently, of course, Battlefield 2042, at the helm of over 80 creative directors, is actually leaving the company. Now, before we get any further into this, do bear in mind that no official statement has been made by DICE or EA or anyone else. This is all coming from Tom. I don't see any reason for him to lie about this, but nevertheless, this is unverified. Now your first thought might be that he was fired or, made to step down due to the community backlash surrounding Battlefield 2042 and he's being thrown under the bus or used as a scapegoat, but that actually couldn't be further from the truth. According to a company email that Tom has presumably got his hands on, Mesmar has been planning to step down as soon as Battlefield 2042 had shipped for some time, saying, "I have been made an offer I couldn't refuse at another company that has been kind enough to wait for me until we have shipped Battlefield 2042. His last day with the company will be the 26th of November, that's tomorrow, so we should see an official announcement about this soon if it is indeed accurate." So no, it doesn't look like he was fired for doing a bad job, he just got a better offer and moved on. But what does this mean for the Battlefield franchise? So Head of Design is a pretty hefty title, and there's no doubt that he pulled a lot of strings at DICE during his tenure there. And I'm sure whoever assumes this role will also play a big part in the creation of the next Battlefield game and the direction that it's set to take. I can't be sure if it's because of Mesmar's work, but I do have to say that out of the games he's worked on for DICE, Battlefront 2, Battlefield 5 and now Battlefield 2042 as head of design, there are a lot of design decisions that were taken that rubbed me the wrong way and in my eyes led to the dumbing down of the franchise and the catering towards casuals. And honestly, I'm pretty surprised that he assumed the role of head of design for the Battlefield franchise if you look at where he came from. King, who are most well known for their mobile gaming hit Candy Crush. And if we take a look at his portfolio, well, there isn't really a lot here that relates to a game like Battlefield apart from obviously what he's done at DICE. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't make him qualified necessarily. After all, what do I know? I'm just some dude sat in front of a computer, right? But I do hope that opening the position of lead game designer will help take the Battlefield franchise back to its roots and just in a better direction overall. That's going to do it for today's video, guys. Let me know your thoughts about this down below, or alternatively, you can come chat to me about it in Discord or indeed over on my Twitch stream, where you can usually find me spamming memes and farming people in helicopters. I'll also link you guys the full article if you'd like to go and read it for yourselves. Thank you all for watching the video, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.